The Evergreen Media Network Studio, powered by Scott Tree Services.
From Studio A in sunny Florida, welcome to Beauty and the Beach Radio, where it's all about who's beautifying Vero Beach. Today's show is brought to you by Dale Sorensen Real Estate. And here's your host and glamour girl, makeup artist, Cindy Goetz.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and the Beach Radio. We want to wish you a happy 4th of July. Doesn't it feel great to live in America? I love America. I love good old USA. And we have so many men and women to thank for that independence. So to me, it's more than hot dogs and picnics. It's a great thing to celebrate, but we really want to honor those people that gave their lives for freedom. And, we're going to talk about something so special today, you guys. It almost brought me to tears, just, kind of reading about what we're going to share with you today. But we're diving in deep. We're actually talking about D-Day. We're talking about June 6, 1944. Right there at Omaha Beach, Normandy, France. As you know, that was a worldwide situation. Obviously, USA was involved, and I'm going to bring get this guest involved, and he's going to explain why he's involved in this show today, and how he is a part of that equation of June 6, 1944. We're talking about a very well-known doctor here in town. He is a neurologist. He's been treating, patients here in our community since 1997. He has a local business. If you guys are bagel lovers, he owns the Einstein Bagels, which, by the way, they also have great coffee. And he also owns the Mind and Body of Vero, which is a wonderful spa, a treatment center, and has been actively involved with the Navy, National Navy SEAL Museum right here in Fort Pierce. And he's been involved since 2012, currently the vice chairman of the board of directors. Of course, he has his lovely wife, Helen. Hey, Helen. Please welcome to the show, Dr. James Shafer. Hey, Jim.
Hi, how are you doing, Cindy?
Oh, so good to see you. Welcome back to the country.
Yeah, well, it's good to be back in America.
Yeah, so let's just get started. Why on earth were you in Normandy, France?
Why was I there? Well, first off, it was a blessing for me to be there, but being involved with the museum over the past 10 or 12 years, we recognized a few years ago that there was no recognition in Normandy for the initial men that forged that beach on June 6th. These are Naval combat demolition units, Navy Scouts and Army Raiders that came ashore very early in the morning to do some reconnaissance and withering fire. When the Germans were there, they knew we were coming. These guys came ashore and had to clear obstacles, and they're the first guys out. Over half of these men were killed on the way in. And there's really nothing there to commemorate that or notice that. So we decided to build the NCDU, Scouts and Raiders Monument Park, on Omaha. And it took us a bit to get the French to understand what we wanted to do, but they opened their arms up to us. And from 20 months, from conception to dedication, we finished it in 20 months. It's quite a remarkable thing.
So you've seen it from start to finish.
Very beginning,
Wow.
concept to finish in 20 months.
Wow, that's incredible. So we do have some photos. They're so remarkable. But take us through, because some of them are listening through radio. They can't see the photos, Doctor. Tell us the components. One, if I may bring up, that I thought was so special was the living beach. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. In the centerpiece of the monument is the living beach, and in the center of that living beach is a hedgehog, which was probably the most formidable enemy there as far as obstacles on the beach. We got this donated from the Overlord Museum, and it's placed in the center. You see the sand there in the center of the monument. So by living, it means that on the dedication day, we had 38 various sands from around the world where the men of the Navy and other part of our Navy Special Warfare fought, died, and bled. And we had special sands from all those beaches placed by various people, everywhere from Medal of Honor recipients to Vietnam vets to we had a lady whose husband, James Tolliver Davis, was a scout on the beach that morning. She's 96, and she came over.
No.
Yeah, so, man, we had some other
so
great people too, but she was one of the many that were there, very special.
Well, I really encourage people to go onto the Navy SEAL Museum Fort Pierce website, because you've got the video of this experience in Normandy, this dedication of this monument park, and it shows the various people pouring the sand into this giant kind of beautiful sandbox, if you will. I mean, adult sandbox. I mean, it's gorgeous. Yeah. It's outlined. It's something like brick or stone or something. Granite. Okay.
Granite. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So, but you see them pouring the sand, so they understand now that you've just described where the sand comes from all over the world.
It does. Right. So the various components, we on a portion of the monument, we tell the story those days leading up to and the day of the operation. It gives everyone understanding about what these guys faced and the obstacles they had to get through and persevere through the bad weather, the cold, waves, being off site. Of course, the Germans knew we were coming, and the fire they had to get through. And despite that, they persevered, and that was just the first step, just getting on the beach.
You know, Cindy just put, if we can go back to that photo, because it truly really rocked me, this sculpture of the soldier. Explain, this is a real person that it's modeled after, that is in the service, and his father served. Tell us about this particular monument and what's so special. And this is what we're looking at actually is like a mini version that you brought back. So
it is.
Talk to us about that.
It's a cast of the NCDU soldier of the day of that morning, typical what they wore, and they had their Hackensack and they had their gear with them. The person that we carved it from is current active duty SEAL, one of the more recognized SEALs that's active duty right now. Very complex process how we did this, but we actually got him to be memorialized or be placed in the statue. It's 12 foot high at the site. It's quite a great site to be standing next to when you get there.
But it was fascinating. I think people would love to hear that, Jim, that they literally had all these photographers taking different angles to make this 3D monument. They did.
A lot of photography there, a lot of engineering there. And the monument itself was an engineering feat. We figured we had to have our French contractors build this site and all the granite and the base pieces. And in the U.S., we built all of the granite you see, and all the steel was built in the U.S. We had to ship 45,000 pounds of steel and granite to France, bring it down to the site, and plug it in place, and hope that every single piece that the French beautifully made fit. And it was like a glove.
No.
Yeah. So it was two countries just coming together and.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And if I can just add to what you're saying with it all coming together, in that particular area, you said they really do love the Americans, obviously, because we have to give them their freedom.
These are small towns. I mean, these are a couple hundred people or more. And so they're very, very simple people in a very nice way. And they appreciate their freedom and what the Americans did. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful to be there. If you've never been to Normandy, I think it's a bucket list for anyone. Certainly any American should be there.
And when I watched the video, they did also do a lot of it in French as well, which I thought was beautiful.
We did. The monument also is out of respect, complete respect for the French, that everything we had to inscribe was duly inscribed in French. Yeah. So it took away some of the ability to give some of the narrative, but it got us to be succinct in what we wanted to say. Yes, and so it's in French too.
Love it. The whole thing is thoughtful. The whole monument park. There's a map etched in granite orienting visitors to key terrain and reference points on Omaha Beach. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you can see where you are in reference to it. And what's interesting is when we reconned for this monument, our French counterpart Val Perhoto, I have to give a shout out to. She's just an amazing retired Marine who, along with another French counterpart, were walking the beach looking for a space where to put this place. And they stopped at this little knoll just below the beach, only about 100 yards from the beach, and said, this is the spot. And lo and behold, if you look at old photos of Normandy on D-Day, the first road that was put in that came up the hill to the bunker, what's called Win 65, was the first base of operations on D-Day. And as we were digging the monument foundation, we found the road. So the road is underneath this monument. And
right? Seriously.
Yeah. So we took pebbles from the road. We put them in a time capsule because you'll see pictures of men walking up the hill. Well, they walked right through the monument on that morning, on that day, or days after as well. But it was obviously, it was picked up by, we feel those guys were there picking it out for us.
100.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, 100%.
Yeah.
Geez, you've got historic panel scenes. Tell us about that.
Again, the history panels are meant to do several things. We have two areas. One area is sort of a timeline instructional board that gives you some background into the evolution of the predecessors to the current Navy SEALs. You know, they started out as Navy Scouts and used NCDU and became UDT and transformed into SEALs. So that the SEALs are, have a lot of respect for these guys. They were their predecessors and set the tone for what it means to be a SEAL. And that's part of the monument, was really to see the movement forward into a modern day SEAL, but also to give you a history. And that's a big part of the big wall there. It tells where they landed on the beaches, the obstacles they came against, what was going on that day, and the rest of the history that's there.
And I noticed somewhere too, you have QR codes so people can scan and get more information as well.
Yeah, that's the developing project, and that will be on there both to get people directed to the museum so we can, see what else we do. We have a lot of things going on, as you know, with the museum as an international entity at this point, because now we are now international, and let alone and hopefully get them to more education.
Wow. Let's talk about the museum real fast, because this is kind of your connection here from being on the board and now seeing a lot of these projects. Give us an update on what's going on with the museum.
Yeah, a lot happening, as you know, since Rick came on board about 12 years ago. We really transformed into a world-class museum and an entity that provides not only education and history and legacy of the Navy Special Warfare community, but also the Trident Charities, which provides a lot of services for the families of NSW, and then the Memorial Wall and now the monument. So Fort Pierce has been there a long time, since 1983. We're in the middle of an expansion project. We're working on our plans. The county of St. Lucie has blessed everything we're going to do. So probably mid-2025, we may be breaking ground on a big expansion. We'll have space for events, over beautiful events. We have more display space, virtual reality, spaces, along with more static displays. We've got a Huey helicopter coming. That's Fort Pierce. San Diego is taken off. We now have a flag planted in San Diego. We took over the San Diego Contemporary Arts Building in San Diego. We just acquired that, and we're swinging hammers there right now. And I just saw some video yesterday of some phenomenal work that's being done. So that'll be open probably first quarter of 2025. It's part of a showcase called our Showcase. And the eventuality is to get to our big experience in San Diego, which would be a much bigger project. So a lot happening.
Wow, that is so incredible. If I may, Jim, when you came onto the show a few years ago to talk about the SEALs, I said, I've never been to the museum. I really would like a tour. And you made sure that happened. And since then, most recently, I took my nephew, who was just thrilled. And of course, Rick, shout out to you. You took such good care of him. And I really want to encourage people, because it's mind-blowing how phenomenal. I mean, you're expanding, but even right now, it is such a wonderful place to go visit and truly understand the Naval SEALs, the Frogmen, how it started. It started right here, on our beaches. Pretty barbaric, carrying tree trunks, I believe, right?
They still do that.
They still do that.
Log PT is still a big part of their
goodness.
training.
Yeah. So, but it's very educational. It's just truly a treasure that we have on our treasure coast. So I want to encourage people to come and check it out. And what do you need the community to do for you? Or do you need them for anything other than just the local support?
We need the community, and we need the community to embrace what we're doing in Fort Pierce, but also, across the country.
Yeah.
We're museums, especially I feel our military museums are really important because they're our last defense of education. We're teaching, but it's not the same as it was years in the past. And our museums and what we're doing are going to keep this alive. In Normandy, we're hoping to educate and let people know that, freedom isn't free, and it takes a lot of sacrifice, and got to keep doing what we're doing.
Jim, before we go to station break, we have about 1 minute. I've asked you a lot about the Monument Park right there in Normandy, but I want to personally ask you, what was that feeling like to be right there on Omaha Beach where that, and I know that incredible day happened. Did you? Yeah,
it's if you don't choke up,
yeah,
if it doesn't move you immensely, there's, it does. It has to.
Yeah.
It really does. It did me. Still does. It's a sacrifice, and a lot of people, that courage and that commitment and that honor that those guys, they hit that beach and they weren't going to give up.
Yeah. Yeah. So you felt it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling if I want the opportunity to go, but I can't imagine not feeling all these boys' presence and just the enormous sacrifice and the pride too that we would have as Americans that we did make a difference. We made a huge sacrifice and we made a huge difference, and that's got to move the soul.
It does. The world was there that day. I mean, it was us, it was the Brits, a lot of people came together to try to push that back, the depression, make a way to Berlin.
Yeah. You guys, we need to go to a station break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's hurricane season. Prune your trees now with Scott Tree Services. Strengthen your trees against high winds and remove broken limbs that could cause damage. Don't get nervous. Call Scott Tree Services.
Supper, dinner, whatever you call it, Marsh Landing has perfected it. Come have a taste of what we've been making from scratch. Big heaping portions of Old Florida specialties, from frog legs to catfish, steaks, and homemade dessert. Enjoy supper or dinner at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere.
Enjoy Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone, where the comedy is wild, untamed, and downright hilarious. Come out this Friday and Saturday night at 6 and 8 p.m. for the Treasure Coast's best live stand-up comedy show, featuring nationally recognized comedians with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Warning, you may laugh until it hurts. Kickstart your evening with live entertainment, food, and drinks at Live in the Loop. Buy tickets at riversidetheater.com and get ready for a night of non-stop laughs.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs in all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens, Hollywood, and Kingsley Bait. We specialize in fire bits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Right now, we're having a super summer sale with lots of great markdowns and discounts on everything you need for your Florida home, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street and visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture.
Cindy Goetz, she totally gets it. Oh my gosh, did you see my prom makeup? She so gets it.
Dude, did you see her before and after makeup on Instagram? That makeup girl gets it.
My wedding makeup was so amazing, and my makeup artist, she totally gets it.
My senior photo makeup rocked. She gets it.
You should see her new Facebook profile. Her makeup artist really gets her.
My eye makeup is so on fleek. Thanks, Cindy Goetz.
Cindy Goetz Makeup Artist, 772-633-4030.
She gets it!
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying a weekend that's going to be filled with red, white, and blue. Hope you're celebrating with your families. We want to thank Dale Sorensen Real Estate for always making sure we're on air and we can share with you those that are beautifying Vero Beach, like Dr. Shafer. So whether you're buying or selling a home, you can find them at 772-231-4712. You can also find them at sorensenrealestate.com. Dale Sorensen Real Estate, thank you so much. We also want to thank Varietals and More. They always make sure we have a lovely beverage for our guests. And they always try to go, according to the theme. And I said, we're actually talking about Normandy. There's a wonderful dedication going on right now that the SEALs are doing. And so they came up with obviously some bubbles from France, and so it's called Ballerin, and it's a white, so it's not a champagne, but it is sparkling. Thank you. It's sparkling white wine. So anyway, grab some at Varietals and More. It's a great thing to celebrate for 4th of July. I love bubbles. It always signifies celebration. So anyway, go grab some at Varietals and More. Thank you so much, Rob and Michelle. We're going to wrap it up. We only have a couple minutes left. I'm here with Dr. James Shafer, who is the vice chairman of the board of directors right there at our local SEAL Museum in Fort Pierce. Dr. Shafer, in closing, we talked about this wonderful monument park that is being put up there at Omaha Beach in Normandy, France, that you just came back from. What do you want the world to know? What do you want to close with here?
Well, I think, like you said earlier, these places where we memorialize, or I say we recognize the deeds of these men that, gave it all for, the freedom of this country. And I think we all have to keep that in mind, in your day-to-day lives. I think as you're thinking things are pretty tough and you're having a bad day, they had a bad day too. But in ways, it was a very remarkable day and a day that we should always celebrate. Yeah. And I think best we can do to celebrate the sacrifice is to live the best lives we can. And that's what we need to do and take advantage of that. They gave up their lives for us to have this. So, you need to push forward and work hard as you can and enjoy this and be very grateful.
Speaking of that, real fast, you're talking to me off air, and I want people to hear this mini story that you just shared with me because it gives a bird's eye view of that day. You were sharing with me a young teenager. Tell us about that real fast.
Yeah, so when we visited the American Cemetery, we were able to visit some grave sites, and the site that we actually visited, my wife and I, with the guide in our group, was a young man who had been in Virginia. He joined the Navy at 17 back then. He was a U.S. Naval reservist. He was brought down to Fort Pierce, Florida, as a volunteer, and spent about 5 weeks here or so training. Was shipped over to England and ended up being the first on the beach that morning on June 6, 1944, at the age of 19. He was married 4 months, and he died that morning. So we were at his site, being there to recognize this young man who did a man's day worth of work for sure at 19 years old.
That's just a little tiny snippet, isn't it?
It is a snippet when you stand inside that cemetery of almost 10,000 graves.
What was that like? We have 30 seconds. What was that like being at the American Cemetery there?
It's sobering, but it was also felt to be an honor to be there as an American, because we participated in helping liberate France and actually the rest of the world at that time from the start of that day. So we're very blessed to have had the opportunity to do this. We appreciate France and all the great people that helped us make it happen, and we hope that everybody can get there someday. The best thing you can do now is get to Normandy, see the monument, and see all of the things there.
Give the respect.
You got it.
10 seconds left. What does Dr. Shafer do to celebrate 4th of July?
Oh, gosh. I'll probably go swim out to the wreck
Oh,
here in Vero,
you
off
are
the
a
beach.
swimmer.
Yes.
That's right. right. Oh, that is the thing to
Swim to the
do.
wreck.
Swim out to the flag. I love it. Maybe I'll see you out in the ocean there.
Kaiser will be with me. We'll be out there.
Oh, I'll join you guys. All
Okay.
right. Happy 4th of July. We love you guys.